Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about how the markets are going to be going crazy over the next few months. Okay. And look, this is like, I've never been this serious. I am super, super serious right now. Okay. This chart indicates the total amount of money in crypto, the market cap, right? If everything were to sell for its literal price right now, you would have 3.8 trillion. Now, is that how the markets work? No. It's not literally how it works, right? Obviously, not everyone's going to be selling at the same price. When you sell a lot, price goes down, etc., yada yada, right? But we are at 3.8 trillion market cap. And we expect lots of momentum to the upside over the next few short months. Well, why? Well, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen, right? This is the total market cap, right? And we can see that we had a nice pump in November. We kind of slowed down December, January. And of course, we had a pullback, simple fundamental pullback. We said it multiple times on the channel that it was going to be a fundamental pullback. April's, we did say, was the beginning was just going to be a bait towards the downside, and then we're going to reverse. It happened exactly that way. Okay. And now we can see that we are similar, right? We are kind of at a similar point where we were in December, right? In December, we peaked at 3.74 trillion. Right now, currently we're at 3.8. But the difference is, ladies and gentlemen, is that look where this nice big candle is. This candle is chilling all the way up here, right? Last time when we were pumping, right, we pumped up to here, but we still ended as actually a bearish candle. This time, right, we still have roughly, 12 days left of July. But, if we close anywhere, right, let's say from 3.68 trillion onwards, it's going to look really, really good, right? Because we are going to be closing above the zone. Now, does that mean, it's going to be literally straight pump 24/7? No, we could see a little pullback here and there, especially that we are retesting on this zone. This zone is the most important, right? This and the literal tops over here. These two zones are the most important. So if we do something like this, right? So we could see in the future 1 or 2 weeks where we pull back, but that would just spring us forward, especially if July ends really, really well. This is really, really similar, ladies and gentlemen, to this point over here, right? Something like this, okay? Where the markets, right? The markets last time around, well, 2017, 2018, right? They peaked here, right? They peaked at 540 billion practically in terms of the monthly close. And then we can see in 2020 of November, the monthly close was 570 billion. And in the next month, monthly close was 760 billion, right? So it was like equal highs. It was equal highs practically up here, right? Boom and boom. But the difference was, ladies and gentlemen, was this was a wick, right? Wick and a bearish candle. This was no wick. This was a full, nice, bullish candle. That was the difference. And we're getting something very, very similar where, we're kind of like at these equal points, but this candle is actually full. It's not a rejection. It's not a sell-off, right? And then look what happened the next few months after this, right? Rally, 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 right? For 1, 2, 3, 4 months straight, we're practically just pure green. Sure, some weeks in between, some days in between were sideways or a little bit of a sell-off, but overall, it was just pure green. Then, of course, we had a sell-off, and then we had the second pump, right? But we're not counting the second pump. We're just looking for the first one. So something very, very similar is about to happen. I do believe, we've been saying on this channel for a while now that I do believe late summer to late fall are going to be the first altcoin season, right? I do believe that. So I do believe we are close, right? Let's not even count July. Let's not even count July. We have August, September, October, November. We practically have maximum like upwards of 4 months, right? If you count July, I guess 4.5 months. Okay. This is exciting. Like, you guys should be excited. Okay. Especially that, I do believe September, that third quarter, actually technically, no, where are we right now? First was, we are in the third quarter right now. Okay, I see. So in the fourth quarter, actually, right? In the fourth quarter, in the beginning, I expect solid pumps, but towards the end, halfway through November, late December, we could see a drop off. Okay, we could see a drop off, but I expect quarter three to be fairly good, fairly solid, and then I expect half of quarter four to be excellent, right? Like that is what I expect, and that is where I'm going to be looking to be cashing out. And like I'm saying, this looks really, really similar to us being the equivalent of somewhere down here. And like I said, after that was nice 4 months of pumps, right? And if we had, again, consistently 4 to 5 months of nice pumps, then ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be seeing, potentially 6 trillion, 7 trillion, 8 trillion market cap before we top out potentially for the first time. Now, like I said, I don't know if we're going to top out once. I don't know if we're going to top out twice. That's never guaranteed. We're obviously going to be updating people on the channel when the time comes. But the point is that we are getting closer and closer. And I'm super, super excited. Like, I am super, super excited. Okay. Once we do break out of this, I mean, we should just be flying. Obviously, if the last 12 days of July end dreadful, right? If they end dreadful and they do crash down to somewhere even like down here to 3.5 trillion, then that's not going to look very ideal. So we still have a few weeks of confirmation left. This monthly candle is going to be very, very important. It was the same thing for like Bitcoin in June, right? Bitcoin in June, right? We were looking for this candle not to end super bad. Now, the candle itself for June was but the reason why we needed June to hold strong was because we did not want this 3 monthly candle to end up horrible. Because if it was going to end up horrible, if it ended up like this or this candle over here, right, then it would have been bearish indication. But since we ended so strong, right, it's still confirmed that we are very, very bullish on the 3 month. And, that's why the last week and a half of June really did come clutch, right? Really did come clutch. And that's why you always have to still be patient, because what we're waiting for right now is the monthly candle, right? We are waiting for the monthly candle. Now, if we look at the other charts, we can see that they are catching up, right? This is the market cap excluding Bitcoin, right? So we are approaching the all-time highs once again, but I don't believe we're going to reject for a third time. I do believe, we might get a minor sell-off, 10, 15%, but ultimately we're going to be looking to be bouncing from here, right? Even if we do go down a little bit, we're going to be consolidating and then shooting up, right? Altcoins, they're still fairly kind of down, right? They're still fairly down. If we take it from these highs over here to, let's say, the bottoms of August, right? We're roughly just around 50%. So there's still another 50 more percent at the bare minimum to go into altcoins, right? But we know altcoins like Turbo, XDC, even like something like Ondo, Casper, Render, Ray, it doesn't matter, Myro, a bunch of other coins. Like, this is not necessarily our time to shine. This is just our time to be building up, because we are still going to be having our phase, right? Where we should be hitting it upwards of 1 trillion market cap. Okay. Like, we really, really should be, right? We are somewhere right over here. We are somewhere like right over here when it comes to altcoins. Okay, we're kind of just like in the middle, but once we start going, we're gonna start going, right? Once again, we're literally like right in the middle from this bottom to this top, right? And like I said, but once we start going, we will start going, and especially once we break out of this 430 billion market cap zone, oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be flying like you've never seen altcoins fly before, and then it's all going to crash and burn. But luckily, we will cash out before it does crash and burn. But that is, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys did enjoy it. I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.